Warning, this show contains adult language, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it's entirely dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and the planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. Today's episode 174, Success is the Journey, Not the Destination. This is a very important one, I think, for this possible coming recession. I keep mentioning the recession. I hope I'm not boring you guys with it, but a lot of people are asking me questions of what they think I would do, what I think they should do, what's going on here. And very first off, I don't know if this is kind of on topic, but I spoke before on our job on how to raise a kid. Our job is not to form a child. And I look at that's my job with this podcast that I'd like to get out is not to form anybody, but to inform them. Your children's way and your way of life is going to be different than mine. And your children's life will be different than your life. They have different things that they have to go through. So it's the best of practices for us to inform people, to show them how to deal with coming things. And today's the journey, not the destination, is a very big thing I think that we should tell ourselves every single day when we wake up. It's not the destination. And let's talk about that for a second. There's a double-edged coin here, or caveat, I guess you can call it, is that yes, some of these people, if you made $1 billion fucking dollars, asshole, you don't really need to be doing anything else. You know, as long as you're not living way beyond your means, your children's children won't have to work. On the other side, what happens though is even these billionaires, that's why they're out doing shit, because people get bored. They got to a destination. And a lot of us, I think, in life are missing because we think that, well, I'll just really work hard. And then when I finally get to there's a there to get to, that's it. I'm done. If I could get there, then I could finally rest. Problem is especially if you've been listening to the show and you've been looking around you, the destination, it seems like it's never really there. Things are always changing. This is like the surface of the ocean. There's tidal waves and there's flat sessions. There's wind that comes. There's stuff. The surface never holds the same tension. And I see that the same as life. Life to me is like you're on a log, right? And you're going down a river. We don't know where that destination is going to lead us, but every once in a while, you can, when you're not focused on making sure you're not going over a waterfall, you can spot things. You can see them for a portion of your life. And you're a frog, right? On a log. You can get off every once in a while at the shore and kind of venture out a little bit. And you're like, oh shit, I might get hurt here. And I got to get back on that log and keep moving. But life just starts passing you like that. It just starts going by. You see something in your life and, loved ones that we've had, pets that we've had, money, things, successes, and then they just slowly start to go behind us. I think a lot of people get bored when they finally get to the final destinations of the so-called final destination. They're like, oh God, it's not what I thought it was. I find this a lot in people who are retired. They always got to do things. They don't just sit and golf, That's golfing is a perfect analogy because a lot of people think, well, they just golf every single day. I bet when they finally retired, a lot of them did, but then they got bored and wanted to do other things. So in order for us to be successful, I think, is we got to enjoy that journey, right? Let's talk about the end part of this. The problem is a lot of us are doing things that we don't like to do. We just talked about yesterday's podcast, you got to learn to eat shit. And that's pretty much what I've heard a lot of people, successful people have said. Elon Musk, I think, was saying he was broke when he was trying to form Tesla. Actually had to borrow money from his friends, was sleeping in an office, that was his home. And he had to go down for a while to make stuff happen. I think a lot of us, to survive this coming possible recession and reset and inflation, as we just spoke about, we got to learn to eat shit. We got to live way below our means. Doesn't mean we have to eat shit for the rest of our lives. We just got to do that initial push, especially if we're in the monetary system. Now, the destination, with the work that we're doing, I think if you can enjoy the process, a lot of us, a lot of it's said, like, find something you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. I'm like, yeah, but kind of not. You have to work. What is it? Some of the most successful people said, I can't remember who it was. Success is like 90% perspiration and 10%, attainment of getting stuff, right? It's success. But it's built upon perspiration. I forgot. I just butchered it, I think. But I think I got the point out for you guys. But yeah, when I wake up in the morning, for instance, let's talk about how I deal with stuff is like I run a construction company. I own my own construction company. I work just by myself, so my overhead's super low and everything's very simplified. That's how I'm able to do a lot of different things. And I make really good money. I've developed my life around that way. I live very simple, and I can make really good money in some weeks, so money in other weeks, and sometimes just astronomical good money. I position myself in places. It's the destination, though. When I was building my construction company, my sales tactics and everything, I just really got into it. I wasn't really like in love with it. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to wake up in the morning tomorrow and figure out how to make videos and edit them for sales and how to market and things like that. But I designed certain things out of the box, I'd like to say, different. I looked at all my competitors. What are they doing? What can I do the complete opposite? And not just focusing on doing something the opposite just to be opposite. What are things missing? What's the missing links that I could see that customers would want in order for me to win the job? What could I provide for them that would make me better than anybody else? And I successfully did that. And I spoke about a lot of my secrets. You'll have to listen to my past podcasts to hear those. But when I wake up in the morning, I'm to battle inflation and things like that. I'm looking to expand on my own food production, so I'm growing a shit ton more of my own food, and I have to come up with all these designs. Right? There's always things that hit me. This year, I had to put it this way. Last year, I used to direct sow my seeds. Right? I'm growing Napa cabbage and tomatoes and things like that. I basically just stuck them in my soil as seeds, got them so I didn't have to do anything extra, and things went well. This year is completely different. All my little tiny seedlings are getting eaten by insects, aphids and specifically. So the leaves barely come up and they're about an inch tall, and you can tell that there's aphids on them because your leaf will curl in half and start to dry. Well, this baby little leaf, the way you get rid of aphids, you got to spray them with soapy water or, neem oil, or you rub them with your fingers. The problem with these babies, they're so tiny, by the time you just barely flinch or unfold the leaf, you just tore it out of the ground. So I had to go and build myself an entire screened little shelf that's completely bug resistant. And now I'm having trouble. So we solved that problem. I've got seedlings growing now and the bugs can't get it. Problem is we don't have enough sun. So now my plants are getting leggy. They're getting very long. My plants are getting leggy and they're getting very long. So that's not a good thing either. So now we got to supplement light. So the thing I wanted to tell you guys here is just the journey. You're always having to flex and pivot. What happened last year may not happen the way it did last year in this year. Exactly what happened to me. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm constantly putting out fires. I'm inventing my way out of things, configuring things. And I kind of like it. I like the fact that I get off on survival. Right now, even my construction business is getting hit. My marketing strategies, the internet providers that I use are not doing so good of a job. In fact, it's horrible, and I'm losing some big money right now. So I have to shift to something else. But I love the fact that I'm able to shift, and when I get back into a corner, I'm able to love the journey of like, well, how am I going to make myself get out of here? What am I going to do about this? How am I going to fix this problem, or how am I going to make it better? So I think you have to have your eye on the prize. To gain your freedom, and sometimes there's things you have to do that you don't really want to do, but they lead up to other things. So enjoy the journey of it, and keep I guess, like I says, the eye on the prize, and start getting into that mind frame of, look, life may suck right now, but the journey is to get to a destination, and when we get to that a destination, we're going to fix life so we can get to another destination if we so choose to, if we get bored. But really, what I'm looking at in my life is a place where I can actually get to a lily pad and not have to work so hard for a while and just kind of relax. And I can do that right now. Now, I've told you guys before, I have enough money to survive for 3 years if I absolutely did nothing, depending on inflation. So I can take a huge break, but I want to make sure that if we do have a coming recession, my journey is to possibly buy myself a piece of property someplace or upgrade my life a little bit better living conditions, and wait for the time of the crash when shit hits the fan and almost hardly anybody is prepared. Everybody's lived for the destination, the final destination. They haven't been watching around them. They haven't been watching the horizon to the coming things, and they're going to have to ditch out, and they're going to need to get rid of things. I don't want to take advantage of people, but it's not my fault that these people weren't thinking clearly. And in fact, it's me doing a good service for them by taking this off of their hands so they don't have to pay for it anymore, say like a house. But I want to buy that house at a way discounted price. That helps me out, helps them out. And in order for me, I look at like this show, I don't think is going to go very far because a lot of people aren't going to want to live like I am. What are you telling me? You're no fucking millionaire. You know, who the fuck are you? What do you got? You live in a trailer, dude. You look like you're poor, right? And you don't go out to the movies and concerts and eat fancy foods, you know, all the time. I do when I want to, but very sparingly. But no, I look at, instead of taking a journey, as we're talking about, where someone will have a mortgage for 30 years, 40 years of their life, mine may be half that. Maybe mine will be cash out, right out. Bought it, I don't know a damn thing on it. I'm debt free, you know, like that. So those are the things, I guess. I don't know if we're getting off track here, but that's the journey that I want you guys to understand, that a lot of wealthy people, that's what they did. They got into things where they just loved the journey so much and they didn't give up. Right? They didn't give up when things got hard. They stayed focused, they kept moving, they kept pivoting, and they finally got what they wanted. I think that there's a lot of people I see who look very unhealthy, and that's what I want to talk about next with the journey, is I think that you should definitely watch your ass, because if you go overboard, you go too much into these things with your mind, your soul, and everything, there's no balance. I think that you can hurt yourself. And I think to an extent, I'm going to admit, I think I've hurt myself, and am right now in a way hurting myself as well, because I'm so busy. I got so many things going on that I'm lacking in certain other things, such as health. My health is great, by the way. I want to do more things. I want to go getting more cardio and more exercise. I've been applying myself more towards business and money, marketing, and the show, and all these kind of things in my life right now. But we need to get a happy equilibrium. And in exercise is funny. A lot of people who are jogging, you know, it looks like they're dying, right? And there's so many different things you can do, from yoga. My Mama Strega shared this one with me, as Sadhguru, his name was saying that it looks like people are fighting themselves, like they're killing themselves. You know, when they're running and they got that face like, fuck, I just wish this would be over, you know? They look like they're in pain. Well, there's ways to do yoga and things where you don't have so much stress on your body, right? So the journey too, when we look at this, not the destination of six-pack abs or whatever it is you're after, enjoy that journey of health, and it's going to help you to think a lot clearer, to enjoy your one of your destinations when you get there, because you're able to you're not sick, you don't have cancer, you're not overweight, you know, you feel good, you look good, right? And we talk a lot about the show, not give a fuck what anybody thinks about you, but when you feel good and you look good, you know, to yourself, you're not fat and stuff and overweight, and you're like, your muscles basically are toned. Doesn't mean you have to be like a buff guy or buff chick, you know, just that you're toned. You're able to do a cartwheel in your 40s, you know, without throwing out a vertebrae. Happiness, you know, I think a lot of us put this one off. This one's next here, is that it's, you know, when I get there, then I'll be happy. This is very dangerous in my book. I think that we need to hone this in, and I think that we need to find a lot of things that do make us happy, and I think we need to apply them into our lives, into whatever it is, especially for us entrepreneurs, to do things that make us happy. Invest in ourselves, right? A lot of us, I think, will invest into businesses and you know, assets and things like that in our lives, but we forget to invest in our education, in our happiness, right? When there's a happy body, it's pretty simple. I don't think I need to explain this one, right? You feel good, you think a lot better, food tastes better, you get better sleep, life in general, your interactions with people is a lot better, your sales are going to do better because of that, or you're going to be happier at your job with your colleagues and things like that. So enjoy your journey, and I think that you will gain happiness. Money, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Money is a very money can be a difficult one. Money comes and goes, and we just talked about inflation and things like that. And I think this one is way more of a journey than a destination. I think that we need to invest in things to make money, whether it's your job, to get yourself educated so that you keep making money, diversify your skills and things like that, which we're going to talk about. And those are the things that are going to help you along your journey of the financials of money. You're going to want to... I know a lot of you, when you come home from, especially a 9-to-5ers, you know, what's the last thing you want to do? Come home and start researching and going to school, right? But the journey is that if you like what you're doing, stick with it, man. If you like it, I think that we're going to have a lot of shit in the fan for people who just kind of got by, work 9 to 5, pay my rent, barely have any savings. Now they lose their jobs, and we're hearing it already. I got 1 month's worth of money and then I'm broke. Now what do I do? I hate to say it, but that's your fault for not taking the the journey and the destination thing so serious, is that you didn't foresee these type of things, and now you're going to have to really start out at rock bottom. But even then, if you went down, you had to go to rock bottom. Enjoy that journey. We just spoke about how when I lived in a tent at a park and my grandfather, who had a house, came and stayed with me. That journey was beautiful for the both of us. Our dogs were playing and we went camping. And we had fires every night out in the open under the stars, and went fishing on this lake where I lived at a park, and it was beautiful. So enjoy that journey. And when you can enjoy that journey as far as for the money, for success, you will be successful. You will make money, because when you switch that attitude and you switch that perspective, you're going to wake up every day happy. I want to talk to you guys about one of my neighbors that said the other day, I was like, well, here comes Monday. It was my birthday we celebrated. And my birthday's coming this March 17th, St. Patty's Day. So happy birthday to me. Email me, upandinitshow@gmail.com. Wish me happy birthday, guys. Come on. My neighbor just came, and it was the weekend, and he was like, here comes fucking Monday, gotta just live in the dream. He was really angry about it. And that's where I just looked at how many people do that. How many people do these things that they fucking hate? And if we can incorporate happiness and health and success and all these things, and then start enjoying the journey, you look forward to getting up Monday to go to work. If you're after something, if you've got a destination, a destination, as we said, not the destination, but a place to get to, you're going to be up there early, especially for entrepreneurs or people who are making their own money. It's like, once you get a taste of that, you're excited to get back to work, because you know where it's going to take you in your life, right? It's going to take you ahead. So money will ride in with all of that. Knowledge is another one. I think that moving on next, I don't think that anybody who's smart and has to say that they're smart is fucking dumb in my book. I think life is a complete journey, and things are always changing, as we said, just like the surface of the ocean. The only consistent thing in this world is that nothing is consistent. So when we got it all figured out, there's a lot of things I think we can figure out. I've got a lot of shit figured out for my life. I've got a lot of shit fucking figured out. That's why I'm beating my gums, talking to you guys about all these things. Do I have it all? No way. No way, Jose. Yet. 9. Knowledge is something that we keep accumulating. And I think that a lot of older people I see are elders, what we have. And I've talked about this before. We have an epidemic, because they're not really true elders. They're not teaching us a lot of the things that I think that they should. And I don't want to go in detail about that. But what I despise in many of my elders is that they look down their nose at you. We are all equal. Some of us may know some shit more than others, but there's always something to learn from everybody. I spoke about this before with my daughter, who constantly teaches me one of the most important skills and attitudes on the planet is to not give a fuck what anybody thinks about you. My daughter loves to dance, right? My special needs kid will be in the grocery store. They got that music on. She just starts snapping her fingers and moving around. And so I start snapping my fingers with her. I'll dip her right there in the middle of the grocery store and we'll dance. People get a kick out of it. Some people think we're fucking weird. Either way, we don't give a shit. It's in the moments, the felt moment in the exact experience, in the immediate experience, Terrence McKenna likes to say. So children, even a special needs person, doesn't know how to make money, doesn't know how to add, subtract, read, write, cook, clean, do fucking a lot of things, but really knows how to play. She teaches me, and some of these lessons, for you old people out there, a lot of these lessons are things that you forgot, things that are healthy for you, things that you lost from your childhood that you need to get back in order to live a good, successful life, in my opinion. So, and even some of the people that we look at as completely dumb, people have lots of skills. They have lots of things that they can see. They have different insights into things. And if we are able to drop our egos and our pride and able to listen, we can always learn from everything. Nature teaches us. Most people, nature's dumb. Nature was here way before we got here. Trees are fucking intelligent. What if our species ever dies out? They'll still be here, right? They've formed an intelligence of evolution, of living, which is the most important thing, right? We all want to live. We don't want to die, right? And then we want to go fuck a lot and make tons of fucking babies and overpopulate the planet. You know, just pull out every fucking once in a while. Just every once in a while, just pull out, man. We don't have to inseminate every single fucking one, you know. But if you look at their evolution, they're a lot smarter. So we learn basically to cut the shit out. Nature can teach us many lessons. And if you look at biomimicry and science and things like that, wetsuit materials, solar panels, all these things were designed after bugs' eyeballs and wings and, you know, aerodynamics and all kinds of different things. So, yeah, knowledge, you're always going to be learning. It's not the destination, it's the journey, man. And hopefully you continue to learn for the rest of your life until the moment you die. And I wonder if the thing that most people will learn on their deathbed is that I wish I would have done a lot of things different. I wish I would have treated people different. I wish I would have treated myself different. I think that that's the day when everything, even if you are the billionaire, none of that shit matters. Your castle, your gold, everything you've worked for, everything you thought was important, even your philosophies, your successes, all your money, your writings, your fame and notoriety, doesn't mean shit now. And I'll bet you'll have a whole different perspective. It's a positive here, I'm saying. I don't want people to die, but I want people to imagine what that would feel like. Holy shit, I've got one more day to live. What is important in my life? You know, it's probably very freaky. I got a freak mind on me, so I always imagine things, what it would be like to be a woman, you know, be like afraid of rape and things like that, and not to have the strength that I do, and to be treated sometimes different, you know. This goes for everything. Imagine though, take that imagination and apply it towards, you only got 24 hours to live. What would you do? What would you single out? What would you write on a piece of paper that is so important to you? And why not apply those things to your journey today instead of tomorrow? Skills. Let's move on next before I get too passionate. Skills, I think, are always honing. I am learning so much, and they all stack up. They all lead into something even bigger. I think that life should be getting better every year, every decade. You know, this whole thing, you take one step forward and 5 steps back, the chutes and ladders, or how people say you can plan, but life plans it for you. I say yes, a lot of things can happen, but if you hone your skills and you keep your health, wealth, and all those kind of things that we're talking about here today, it's in my opinion that you can actually live a great life and you can thrive, not just survive, you can thrive because of all the skills that you've honed in. And they're not just how to fix things, you know, it's not how to make money or sometimes it's skills and learning how to play. You know what a big skill is? I'll share with you guys. Shut the fuck up. How about that one? Shut the fuck up is what I want to tell a lot of people. You're just waiting for your turn to speak. And when somebody has something to share for you, a skill that you can attain, you're not listening. You're just waiting for your turn to speak, and you keep speaking over the fucking people. It's one of the things that really irritates the shit out of me in life, and I practice a lot of myself, is listen a lot more. And we learn this in sales. That's what I would say if someone, Adrian, can you teach me how to sell something? Figure out what the person's problem is and address it. Let's agitate that problem. Go, okay, what do we got? We have a leaky roof. Oh yeah, that's going to cause some wood damage and things like that. We have no idea what's going to happen. Okay, now here's what we're going to do, right? Let's come up with a solution for their problem. And then we're going to give them a price. We're going to say, well, this is what we got. This is what we're going to have to do. And then you shut the fuck up. When you give them the price, you wait and you listen. You don't just sit there and talk and tell the person what they want. Although us successful salespeople, anyways, our job is to listen. And then we find out, and that's how you'd say, well, Adrian, how do I find what their problems are? Shut the fuck up and listen. Ask a question and then answer it with a question. You know, keep going and derive what is their things. Can you afford this? How soon do you want this fixed? How much of a problem is this for you? Have you ever experienced this before? And what are your concerns about getting the job done? You know, here's all a bunch of good examples by quieting down and letting people have a chance to actually speak and having some respect for them. And I think it may sound rude, shut the fuck up, but I think that at this point in life, the respect level and the way people treat each other, the way they talk, it has to be said that way. And I hope that it does shock some people. They're like, well, what do you mean? I mean, shut the fuck up. And you guys all probably know, how many people do you want to go out there and say that to if you could, right? You know, hey, Dad, shut the fuck up. You know, they just keep talking and talking over you and telling you what's right. They don't even listen, you know. your boss or something. I'll bet you there's at least, you can count them on two hands at least. But no, I mean that in a positive. If we're able to quiet down, listen, observe, we can learn a hell of a lot more instead of blabbing our mouths off. And that's how we will gain knowledge, skills, and many more other things to come. My last thing on my notes here is you can't escape your own story anyways, right? As far as the destination, there's a journey, and no matter what you think, you're on this journey, man. You are going. We are all going on our journey. And who you are and what your story is who you are. And what you have a choice of what you're going to do with your story. And if you're going to waste it on a final destination, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be able to retire. Then I'll be living the life and not enjoying the journey that you have now with all the things we spoke of about your health and your wealth and your mindset and your happiness and your money and your knowledge and your skill levels and all of these things we spoke. And you want to postpone those till the day that, well, then I'll learn to do something that I actually love to do, 30 years from now, 40 years from now. Those of you just starting out, watch what goes on. Next year, I'm going to do it. Next year, I'm going to get fit. And then the year after that, and watch how many years accumulate. And write a note to your future self and watch after a decade, how many things did you accomplish that you said you wanted to do in your life, right? How many things that you want now? What have you done in order to get there, to get to your dream, to make your dream happen, whatever that means to you? Get on that journey. Love the journey. Fuck the destination, right? Get on the journey. Even if what you're after, you never get there, you get close but never get there. Think about all you've accomplished. And be smart enough to know that maybe you had to pivot. Just like I said with my plants, growing my vegetables, I had to pivot to do something different. It wasn't just the same as last year. I had to move in a whole different direction. But I gained that much more skills, and I'm that much more prepared for a disaster, of growing my own food. And this is the attitude, this is the mindset that we will, those who take it, which I think there's very few out there, we are the ones that will make it through this recession, this great reset, and this inflation of money and things and goods and inflation of spirituality and health and everything else. And we'll be the ones there to invest in the right type of things, whether it is all the things we spoke about today, our happiness. And maybe we'll invest in the things that you lost because you didn't care to have these types of philosophies. And not saying I have all the answers for you guys, right? Not this is the right way, but doesn't it not make sense? We are focused, we are happy, we are healthy, we have everything we need. Maybe we'll have more than what we need. And at a time when everybody else is flopping because they're stuck in their ego, those of us the underdogs who went down and made our journey the right journey for us are able to switch that journey into something completely beautiful, completely awesome, and have the life that we really want, which is freedom, comfort, and to keep going on the journey, to go on adventures in anywhere we can because we've had the investment in everything. We have the money to do it. We have the health. We're healthy enough to go climb that mountain, surf that wave, ski that snow slope, right? All of these things. And when we shut the fuck up enough to be able to listen to people, that people actually respect us and listen to what we have to say. And we're listening to what they have to say. And there's an equal value for value exchange and ROI, return on investment on not just money, physical goods, but life, our relationships. That's the show, guys. Hope it was good. If you guys like this sort of thing, look at the show's going to go on for free for as long as I can afford to do so. And as long as I have shit to say and I don't get bored, I just ask you guys, if you got some sort of value or entertainment or something, please go and like it, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this on. I want to get the show off the ground, and it will not get off the ground without your participation. Speaking of participation, well, before I talk about that, give me a middle finger. Tell me how fucking dumb I am and how much I suck. I don't give a shit. But speaking of participation, if you guys want to send me some stuff that you guys want to hear, some suggestions or comments or anything, it's upandinitshow@gmail.com. They're all in the links below or up on top, wherever the hell we are. But that's the show, guys. Up and In It. You can find this on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and anywhere else where they have like Apple iTunes and things like that. And as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it. And bone it before it bones you. No, live it, love it, own it, and bone it, my friends.